Holy, what a game. Disappointing from a Queensland supporter's perspective as far as the results go, but it was something we feared looking at these upgrades New South Wales had made to their squad from game 1. You know, we said they had such a powerful squad on paper, full of workhorses in the back 5, and heading into game 2, they made some upgrades which added to them being more of a threat in attack, and just ultimately looking more well balanced. The upgrades, man, the upgrades performed. One of them being Mitchell Moses, and he was the standout half on the field in his return to the Origin Arena. So much so that he ended up picking up the man of the match, which is quite the feat in a do-or-die situation for the Blues. It was a pretty typical performance, a typical first half, we'll say, because in the second half, the Blues did take their foot off the pedal, and good old Ashley Klein decided to balance the scales, but we won't delve into the conspiracies. The footy chats are blowing up deluxe, but New South Wales were the better team. The game started and died in the first half for the Queenslanders, going into the break, down 34 points to 0. A comeback, in my opinion, was just never on the cards, so we'll talk about that first half because, the Blues dominated. Time of possession, more importantly, they won the battle in the middle and the power struggle in general, like right off the bat. That's what laid the platform for their playmakers to get to work. We talked about Jerome Luai in the preview being one of the best at utilising his strike players outside him, giving Trell plenty of space, early ball, Trell's presence in general, his aura kind of had Queensland's right edge on tilt. Mitchell Moses' kick selection, decision making in general was on point, especially in the red zone, where he had a hand in almost every try scored. At least the first 4 tries scored, he was involved. But yeah, I thought that man of the match was in the bag before halftime. Also in the first half, when we were talking about the middles being dominated by the Blues, I thought Haas was great. I thought Cam Murray, his play the ball speed, his ball playing, I thought was great. And their outside backs in general doing all the hard yakka, getting the Blues out the mud, and it was like their middles took over from like the 40 meter onwards, heading into Queensland territory. That was when you saw Jakey, Murray, Payne Haas of course, roll up the sleeves. I thought both edges were solid as well, Crichton and Liam Martin. Yeah, there's not much else to say. It's hard to single out players because I do think the Blues were on fire all over the park. Their mids, edges, the outside backs, they showed a crazy stat in like the 44th minutes. They played the balls inside the red zone. It was like 33-1 in favor of the Blues, of course. And yeah, you kind of expect that kind of stat when the possession is so lopsided. Queensland just couldn't get going, and I couldn't get a call. That's the outrage on the timeline. I personally think they were just outplayed. New South Wales were strong, aggressive, disciplined, and their decision makers were making the right decisions. It was damn near a perfect half of footy for those damn Blues. And it burns to say, I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of aggressive, the niggle, Queensland just kept letting New South Wales push them around the ruck. It took until like the 44th minutes for one of the Queenslanders to finally give a little niggle back, and it was the skipper, Cherry Evans. After Critter had him in a little grapple and a pretty dominant tackle, he just got up, had enough, pushed him to the ground. That was like one annoyance, you know, it's Origin, you'd expect the Queenslanders to give a little niggle back, not this damn helping the Blues up and stuff. Like, I forget the moment, but it was Latrell Mitchell extending his hand. You don't want to grab it if you're a Queenslander, you want to see him slap it away. I think it was after a high tackle. Yeah, I don't know, they just seemed defeated. Latrell was pretty solid, back to his grubby best. You know, it's a hate and love with Latrell because I do enjoy his style of play, just not when it's against teams I support. That's how it is, you know. He was throwing his weight around and did get the better of the exchange, in my opinion, between him and his opposite. I think that's all I've got for those filthy cockroaches. You get a minimum 3-minute glaze out of me for that performance. As for Queensland, what is there to say about Queensland? That was just a embarrassing performance, especially in that first half. I do feel like there are some pieces missing to this Queensland side, in particular in that forward pack. If only Queensland had a freakishly gifted power forward in their ranks. No, I jest, but 2 Fafitas wouldn't have made a difference against this Blues pack tonight. I do wonder if Slater will make any changes. I think if they do, it'll most likely be on the bench, because I do think they are lacking hard when it comes to punch coming off the bench. You have 2 back rowers, Mo Fotuaika, who's pretty cookie cutter, and Harry Grant. We need our loose cannon, our version of Spence. I kind of thought that role would be the Canberra Horses, Corey Horsburgh, but he hasn't looked the same since being injured. He might still be injured. But yeah, the bench is probably the most under pressure heading into this third game. I also feel like Cherry's met his match in terms of skill when it comes to general play kicking and Mitch Moses, so it'll be interesting to see how they approach Game 3 from that angle. We talk about the Blues workhorses in their back 5, their back 3 in particular, they're all meter eaters, and I think that's what they're missing in the outside backs at the moment, because yes, players like Murray Taulangi and Xavier Coates make a lot of meters, but it's not the hard out the mud type of meters, you know, that you see your Lomaxes, To'o and Edwards do on a daily. That helps take a bit of a load off the forward pack. I mean, they don't even have him in their ranks anymore, to be honest. Oates might have been the last of that kind. I'm not too sure what else to say about the Queenslanders. Overall, it was disappointing. Even in the second half, they scored some points, but again, I do think most of it was due to the balancing of scales by Ashley Klein and the Blues just letting their foot off the gas for a bit. I'm assuming Queensland will be the favourites in Suncorp, but I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty worrying game. Queensland didn't play great in the first match. In fact, the Blues' performance through the middle was similar to their game 1 before. The Blues even had the lion's share of possession as well as a higher completion rate. The only difference is the upgrades. It comes back to the upgrades we're talking about. The players in crucial positions being able to ice those moments that need icing, whether that be the right kick to pile on the pressure or the right pass to help create points. They were the standouts. Mitchell Moses, Jerome Luai was good. And yeah, that's about it. Interesting times. We'll say that game 3, from a Queensland supporter's perspective, it is a nerve-wracking wait. Alright, if you did enjoy that, it's a little review, quick thoughts, moments after the game happened. Be sure to run and share that like button, and for more rugby league related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later.